Hey guys, well, we are on a little adventure today. We're gonna go into the iron mine up in Iron Mountain, Michigan here. Yeah, I'm sick. That's a big sign.
Oh, right in front of the booth. Yeah, like that.
Look at this. Wow. Shovels, axes, pickaxes. That's really cool. That's his tire, guys. This tire is from Big John's Wheelbarrow.
What?
Honey, did you see the blue copper flowers?
Look, it's bismuth.
What is that?
It's bismuth.
Wow.
One element.
Look at the triangles. Stop touching.
Heaviest element that is stable and non-radioactive.
Look at this turquoise.
Daddy, come on, Daddy, good thing.
Jack.
Yeah, well, Daddy, use one. As he wants to find.
Let's see.
On my day off, I have to wear hard.
There you go, honey. You're back at work again.
Go.
There you go. Thank you. There we go. There's some good metal.
Go smack him so he can hear you.
What?
What is the fire on it?
You got your head's on fire.
No, the fire on it.
This underground dump car itself weighs 1 ton. It has a 4-ton capacity. The unique thing about it is it's counterbalanced, which means it's not perfectly balanced. Even when fully loaded with 4 tons of iron ore, one man could have easily pulled this over on his own. If you look up at this chart behind me, I'll give you an idea where we're going. The mine entrance and the train are just around the corner. Get on the train, we're going to ride in a little less than 1,000 feet. Now what the owners would have been looking for, of course, or hoping for, would be a large deposit of high-grade iron ore. One big, huge rock that had to be drilled, blasted, picked up, thrown into these carts, and then hauled out of the mine. Now a stope, that's an English word for a mined-out underground cavity. Once the miners got here, of course, it would have been solid rock. Now you take 4 million tons of rock out of the ground, it leaves a pretty good-sized hole. 3.5 years later, they hit the mother lode, the large stope. Excuse me. Almost 23 million tons of iron ore were removed from the large stope. Now you take 23 million tons of rock out of the ground, of course you're going to leave an exceptionally large hole. Now in order to make money back in those days, iron ore content had to be at least 50%. The unique thing about this mine, specular hematite. It's a type of iron ore that's been known to run as high as 80% pure, which in turn, of course, would have made the owners of this mine filthy rich. And make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, the owners were the ones who had the money. If you were employed here when this mine first went into operation, you would have been paid between 11 and 18 cents per hour, depending on what your job was in the mine.
Wow.
Electricity was introduced in 1940, 5 years later out of business. It seemed like once they started getting modernized, they closed. This is the electric locomotive. What the miners liked about it, power. It was capable of pulling 6 of them fully loaded underground dump cars out of the mine at one time, or approximately 24 tons of iron ore. The downside, if you look overhead, that's your live wire. Water drips from the ceiling in the mine. You'll notice that on the train right in, and especially once we reach the large stope. And everybody, of course, knows water and electricity do not mix. To make matters worse, everybody's house is wired AC, alternating current. This is DC, direct current. It was cheaper. That's why it was in the mine. You didn't have to touch the wire. If you got within a couple inches of it, it
Bam.
would literally reach out, grab you, and hang on to you until somebody shut the power off. And at 440 volts of electricity, it didn't matter how quickly it was shut off. You already would have been electrocuted. That rock you see on the ground with the hole in it, that's specular hematite. That was the money maker for the owners of this mine. It's from the 13th level, 1,300 feet below where we're standing. It's 72% pure iron ore. To give you an idea of how heavy raw iron ore can actually weigh, one rock, 300 pounds. Next to that is the Stoke stretcher. It was also known as the man basket. If a man got injured to the point he couldn't walk, he'd be picked up, laid down, strapped into that basket. Now the only way to get an injured man out of the mine back in those days, they had to wait for fully loaded underground dump cars to be headed to the surface. Notice I said fully loaded, not partially loaded. Once they're on their way out of the mine, they'd pick up the injured man and they'd actually set him up on top of one of the piles of rock. Well, that might seem a little cruel or inhumane, but you're 100 feet below the surface, worst case scenario, 1,300 feet underground, you end up with a broken leg. That was the only way possible it could get you back out of the mine. That'll shut off in a couple seconds. That bit you see painted red, that's modern day technology. It's a 360 rotating black diamond tip drill bit. They are rather expensive. New one that size nowadays run you about $20,000. And what do you get for $20,000? Depending on what you're drilling through, that bit's capable of drilling roughly 1 to 10 feet per minute. Keep that in mind, 1 to 10 feet every 60 seconds. Those tools hanging on the board, hand tools. That's all the miners had for roughly the first 25 plus years this mine was in operation. Jasper is known as a very difficult, hard, dense rock to have to drill through. It can even slow down a 360 rotating bit. You could imagine what it'd be like trying to drill through it with hand tools. Sure, the owners and the miners were hoping to avoid it completely. Unfortunately enough, they did run into it a couple times in this mine. Once we get underground, I'll point it out so you can see exactly what it looks like. Now, I mentioned earlier, 13 holes, 4 feet deep. That was the blast pattern throughout this entire mine. If they had to spend the entire amount of time drilling through Jasper with these hand tools, those 13 holes 4 feet deep could have taken up to 78 days to complete. Now you break that down, that's 1 to 8 inches a day.
Wow.
This is the miner's whistle. It was also known as the warning whistle. It was blown 6 o'clock in the morning, noon, 6 o'clock at night. It was so accurate, townspeople of Vulcan would actually set their watches by it. When a man had the day off, the last thing he wanted to hear would have been this whistle at an odd hour. That meant one thing only. There's been an accident at the mine. All men not working that day, of course, would come rushing up here, and even businessmen would close down their shops, come see if they could help out. You can pull it, but you gotta pull it hard.
Whoa!
Jack, pull it.
Okay, ready? 1, 3, up,
Whoa!
This machine here is called the diamond drilling machine. It was used for exploratory purposes. To give you an idea of how important it was, this machine here was here when the mine first opened up. It would have taken the miners less than 6 weeks to find a large stope. That opening you see there is 1870. This didn't get invented until 1888. Nobody knows why, but it didn't show up in this mine until 40 years after it started its operation, 1910. So the miners had to do it the old-fashioned way. Once we get on the train, we'll ride a little less than 1,000 feet, almost straight back into this hill. Get off the train, we're going to walk back in this direction about 1,600 feet. When we're standing at the large stope, we're half a mile into this hill. We're almost 400 feet below the top of it. It took the miners 7.5 years to tunnel that first half mile. Now this machine was powered by compressed air and water. When it was operational, 10-foot lengths of pipe similar to this one would be inserted in the top. When it was turned on, it turned in a clockwise motion. Bottom of the first section of pipe, of course, would have had to have been a bit. Now if this was an actual bit, the bottom would be embedded with black diamond. It's hard enough and sharp enough to cut through anything. Compressed air and water. Water had to be forced down the hole or the casing, not the black diamond, the casing itself. would have got hot enough to the point where it would have melted. Pressure going down would force this up through the top. It's a core sample, 10-foot lengths of pipe. Engineers could guess within reason the depth, break off a piece, right it on the outside. Fill up a core case identical to this one, and then they'd send it out to be analyzed. In the meantime, while waiting for test results, I'm sure the owners were hoping the miners were somewhat going in the right direction. We have this machine sitting here on the tour for a very good reason. If this was available in 1870, or if this mine would have opened up in 1910, like I mentioned earlier, it would take them less than 6 weeks to find a large stope. 1,000 feet directly up behind where this sits is the large stope to where we're headed. We should be walking through a tunnel here, not over here. The owner's biggest fear came true. That half a mile in 7.5 years, tunneling in the wrong direction. This machine still operates. I'll give you an idea how it ran. 1920 air compressor, it still operates. This machine here still impresses me. 130 years old, it still runs. This is the part here that would drive it into the ground.
No, let's sit up closer.
Wait. Money. Hey, I found it first.
Nope. I saw this one first.
What'd you find?
A dime.
Oh.
I found 2 dimes and a nickel.
Wow, that is really
Mommy took the other dime.
impressive.
Let me sit on the other side of you.
I took the other dime.
Yep, that's a very old one.
Wow. Better in school?
This was done by hand.
Wow. Quartz vein.
And we were actually learning about like natural elements and stuff in science.
Now you got to experience it.
That is all iron ore. Look at that. Oh, that's water. Calcite. Whoa, that is really close. Ooh, big hole there. Holy crap, now it's really getting tight. Jack, you like this?
No.
No?
It's okay.
Oh, we hit a deer.
No, Daddy's kidding.
Look at this. Jackhammer compression lines. Wow,
Still.
this is incredible. Wow.
Okay, to be exact, that was 970 feet. That took us a little over 3 minutes. 970 feet for the miners, 3.5 years to get to where we are right now. And then the first 970 feet, 2 mining companies had to file for bankruptcy. Now before you step off the train, keep this in the back of your minds, please. Every foot you just rode in here, every step we take from here to the large slope, no matter where we go down here, was completely dug by hand. I'm pretty sure this is where blood, sweat, and tears would have been invented. You step
Oh
off the
my
train.
God. That is incredible.
Okay, stop. You wait. Give your hand.
Hold Mama's hand. This is cool. This is incredible. All dug by hand. Keep that in mind. Every bit of it. This is shh.
Did you like your train ride?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right. Pretty good driver, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Man, I don't hear that enough. Okay, I mentioned outside about Jasper, behind this gentleman here. This is what Jasper looks like when you run into it underground. Now this would be your 1 to 8 inches with them hand tools. Luckily enough for the miners, I guess, it's never been known to run much more than 2 feet thick at a time. Now this machine here replaced all hand tools. It's the water liner drill. It was powered by compressed air and water.
Ooh, creepy.
Oh my. Yep.
Well, here's my pet bat, if anybody interested. He's fully grown. It's a little brown bat.
That was cute.
Is it dead?
No, he's hibernated.
What is it?
About the time you say that, he's gonna take off. Okay, where we're standing is a stope. It's a mined out underground cavity. When the miners got here, of course, this would have been solid rock. You take out 4 million tons of rock, it leaves a pretty good sized hole. It's kind of deceiving. On the other side of this pile, this room goes back about another 300 feet. It's pretty much the same size area we're standing in now. Obviously, we can't go back there, see the water. The closer you get to the main shaft of this mine, the deeper it gets. If anybody's ever brave enough, hop on in, follow the stream. You'll hit a little less than a half mile from where we're standing now. You'll be at the main shaft of this mine and an underground lake, 1,327 feet deep. Water temperature, 43 degrees, same as Lake Superior.
Wow, don't forget that.
I mentioned outside about lighting. For the first 43 years, all the miners had would have been one candle power. After that, it was oil lamps. After that, it was calcium carbide lamps. And after that, for the last 4 years, it was battery packs with headlamps. I don't know if you noticed them or not, but they were in the gift shop where you put your rain jackets on. I'm gonna shut the lights off and just show you what it's like. This is basically one candle power. You wear it up here like this on your helmet.
Oh.
Now, no matter where you were on the level, when 13 sticks of dynamite went off, the concussion would knock your candle out every single time. Now I'll shut the lights off and I'll show you what it's like to be underground when your candle did go out. And you'd better hope somebody on your crew had an extra match. Welcome to Pitch Black.
Oh my God.
I like to change the tours up on Friday afternoons. It's self-guided from here on.
Wow. And everybody did it. It's okay. They're all sleeping over there. We don't have to worry about them here. Oh, you don't want to swing? I'm sorry. Touch it. Touch it. Touch it. Touch it. Touch it.
Whoa.
That light out there on the left is daylight. When the miners got here, they tunneled across, they tunneled straight up about 400 feet. They punched a hole to the surface, fresh air, first level. Light now shines on a statue of Big John. Statue in the parking lot, 40 feet tall. This one, of course, is substantially smaller. Anybody want to take a guess how tall he is? And before you answer, I'll even give you a hint. Looks can be deceiving. Big John is farther away than you think, smaller than 40 feet.
20 feet?
Smaller.
10.
10 feet tall. He might not look like it due to the fact between us and him is the length of 2 football fields. That's 600 feet. Now I'll turn the rest of the lights on, show you exactly what stands between us and Big John, and before I do, let this sink in. Hey!
Heck, yo. Holy shit.
That's cool.
600 feet from us to Big John.
Oh my
Widest
God.
part of the room, 300 feet. Just over the fence and over that edge in front of you, it's 50 feet straight down. We're 400 feet below the top of the hill. We are half a mile in, or 2,600 feet. It took the miners 7.5 years to get to where we're standing. 5 mining companies had to file for bankruptcy, looking for this large deposit of iron ore. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned earlier, this was a
Honey,
solid piece of
picture.
rock when the miners got here. Everything before you, completely dug by hand. They mined the large stope for 68 years. They removed 22,637,000 tons iron ore. I try to get in and out before tourists. This year I had a little problem getting one of the bulbs out. So I'll see that white stake out there?
Yeah.
I got to about there and then people came in here, so I'm like, so I sat down behind a pile of rocks. And the guide says, you know, you people want to yell, go ahead and yell. So they yelled and I'm back around and went, hello! People are looking and looking. And he's talking some more and I stood up, I said, who's the president? What year is this? Oh, you gotta have fun, you know?
That's awesome.
Oh, that's good. Yep. Drone the poor kid.
Holy shit, that's really cool.
Alright guys, so that was a lot of fun. That was really a unique experience going down into that mine, and it was just amazing. At first I wasn't sure it'd be worth the money, But, you know, I think it was. You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was, how much did it cost? It was
It was $40.
$40 for all of us.
He was free.
Yeah, Jack was free. $15 for me and Amanda. And then another 10 for Ezzy. But, or no.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it was just incredible. The last part of that tour with the, I don't know, what did they call that? Do you remember? Stoop?
Stove.
Stove? Stove?
Stove.
Stove.
Something like that.
That was incredible. You guys couldn't probably see it with this camera, but there was a little man. It wasn't little at all. It was
Big John.
Big John. That was the same guy in the parking lot, and it was 10 feet tall, but it was 600 feet away, and it was like that big to us, and there was no way to tell. There's no size comparison. It leaves you a little. For me, it left me a little discombobulated because it messed with my perception and my way of judging distance. It was really a really interesting experience.
10 feet out from where we were standing, there's a 50 feet drop.
Yeah, there's literally 10 feet from where we were standing. There was a 50-foot straight down cliff.
And you couldn't even tell.
You couldn't.
Couldn't tell.
But we couldn't even grasp the size of that stove because even though we were in there, it was still so big, but there was no size comparison.
Other than the 10-foot Big John,
Yeah.
that was 600 feet away.
That was just, it just messed with me. But right now we're headed to Iron Mountain and we're just gonna go exploring, see what kind of trouble we can get into, see what's all going on, if there's anything worth checking out. I don't know. We'll have to maybe find a tourist place or look on Google Maps or something.
Or just wander around.
Yeah, we'll just wander. Check out the cliffs. There's a lot of big cliffs, I know that.